do? They formed a caucus and they solidified their unity. And they were really up against the wall there because England was pretty bad, you know, they were tough dudes on the battlefield at that time. Okay, the next thing they did when they wrote it, they kind of were legalistic in the way they thought about things. So they cited the source of their authority. In this case, Almighty God. That's pretty simple to understand. They went on to make a list of their complaints. You know, they wanted to make sure everybody understood, we're doing this, we have our reasons. Well, today, what is a list of complaints? It's a party platform, it's what you just heard, the rule of law is not being obeyed, we want better gun rights, we want property taxes to go. That's the list of complaints. They destroyed the banking system, you just stole all my IRAs and my 401ks are all gone. You've just basically wiped out our monetary system after another couple trillion go down the drain. What's going to happen to our paper money? All of these things are reasons to be upset. But that's not a tactic yet. And here's the one everybody seems to miss. There's a solution in the Declaration of Independence. It's a little surprising to most people that whenever any form of government becomes destructive to these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or abolish it, and to institute new governments, laying foundations on such principles and organizing its powers in such forms as to them seem most likely to affect their future safety and happiness. Forms. They have a long list of complaints, but they didn't put those in the solution. The solution is the forms of government. Kind of linked to what you just heard. Now, how do you go about that? All right, do we have to declare war on the United States? No, because these guys did complain to England, and I didn't write it in my notes, but in the Declaration of Independence, in every stage of these oppressions, we have petitioned for redress in the most humble terms. Our repeated petitions have been answered only by repeated injury. A prince whose character is thus marked by every act which may define a tyrant is unfit to be the ruler of a free people. Does that sound familiar anywhere else? The First Amendment of the United States Constitution. Most people can list, you know, think about in your head quickly, what is the First Amendment? Freedom of conscience, freedom of religion, freedom of speech, what we're doing now. If you're really gung-ho, go out and publish it. Freedom of the press. Well, what's the last one? Redress your grievances in a peaceful way. Peaceably redress your grievances. And this is probably the most powerful word in the entire Constitution. Against the government. Peacefully redress your grievance against the government. What is that? It's a political party. From the very founding of this country, that's what that has been interpreted to mean. The citizens, untethered by government, form unity and attack the government peaceably. Its failure leads directly to what? The Second Amendment, which is the Declaration of Independence, which is picking up arms against the tyrant. That shouldn't cross anybody's mind because the first part still works. And so that's the overall strategy. Now, most people don't realize, tactically, your precinct convention is more powerful than the State House. Now, that's why I'm banished from all groups, because I say stuff like this. And I can show you how it can happen. They've shut down multiple state conventions because of this. The Supreme Court in 1988 and again in 2000 declared basically that party rules are dominant to state law, party rules are dominant to state constitutions, and party rules are dominant to most federal law. Why would that be the case? Because it's the party rules. It's not law. A political party is a private association of individuals, unity, for the purposes of redressing the government. Therefore, the government can't control them. But now the government has laid traps, Everybody here know what gerrymandering is? Got a pretty good idea that that's basically cheating. Okay? But what have they done? They have made the general election has been rigged based on political affiliations in political parties, basically Democrat and Republican. But the primary is not a state affair. There's a little compromise going on there with the state paying for it, but it's not a wholly private affair. Remember the noise with Hillary Clinton in the Florida and Michigan votes? First words out of her mouth were things like, none of the delegates are bound. The first thing the Rules Committee said is, Florida passed a law we don't recognize. A political party doesn't recognize Florida law. So who's in charge? Florida law or the political party? The political party is in charge. And there was nobody even questioning that because it's already been decided. Powerful stuff, isn't it? You understand what I'm saying? So can we form a strong enough unity to take over a political party, to start a political party, and have an effect on primaries? We have that's no necessarily means nothing in the general election. You still have to win that as well. So your unity has to eventually, your caucus has to be strategically planned to win a general election, utilizing the things you don't control, gerrymandering. So with smart strategy, you use those wicked things that have been done against them. And that can be done by properly using a political party. I'm the author of the term limit rules inside the Republican Party. Term limit out party officials. Thomas Foley, the former Speaker of the House, sued the state of Washington to remove term limits from a state constitution that affect a U.S. congressman. The Supreme Court agreed with Thomas Foley, and I believe 26 states had term limits on U.S. congressmen back at that time, and they all fell to the ground. But a party rule could do the same thing. We could put term limits on Republicans, on Democrats. It'd be unilateral if we did it one party at a time, but it could be done. And guess what? Nobody could stop us. Well, we don't like rhinos in the party. Now, remember, Joseph, what just happened in the newspaper with the speaker's race? Okay, we have 76 Republicans, 75 Democrats, or 7, whatever number it is, it's close to that or something like that. The Republicans are basically the majority. But a small group, 16 Republicans, with a moderate leader, joined the caucus of the enemy and became Speaker of the House, the most powerful person in Texas. Well, what did he just do? It's called betrayal. Now, he's my state rep, by the way. It seems like a lot of these guys come from my area. Stressful. Joe Straus is a good guy. You know, he's not a conservative from my perspective. I don't know personally that well. I've seen him. You know, that's about it. The point was, he broke the unity of the caucus, thereby breaking the Republican caucus at the State House. Now, Tom Craddick was also a tyrant. He needed to be broken. It was the wrong way to do it. I wish there was some maturity inside the Republican Party. But Tom Craddick broke all the rules by saying, I'm the Speaker, I'm the God, nobody can make a motion in the House unless I allow it. He publicly said that, and he acted that way, and he deserved to lose his speakership. But the caucus was broken. And Joseph Straus from San Antonio, he's now the Speaker of the House with all the Democrat votes and 16 Republican votes. Something's fundamentally wrong with that. What can we do about it? Form unity inside the Republican Party, change the party rules, write a rule that simply states, if you hurt the goals of our party, we will not allow you to run as Republican ever again. Guess what? You can never be elected in a gerrymandered Republican district because we would not allow him to through a motion called censure. It's not open to the public if we don't want it to be. The general election cannot be